some combination of either hearing about current events and of prayer caused me to recall a book that I read for Lent a few years ago. Actually, it was right in the middle of the pandemic. But the title of the book is What Jesus Saw from the Cross. And it is a very detailed account of the day of our Lord's crucifixion and really a moment by moment recalling of everything that happened to him that day. And I was recalling this morning the passage from the book of what was the first thing that Jesus saw when he was crucified, when he was nailed to the cross and the cross was placed in a hole in the ground. And we know that Jesus was crucified at the top of a hill. It was across the valley from the city of Jerusalem. So the first thing that Jesus must have seen from the cross was a rather panoramic view of the city of Jerusalem. And he would have seen there um, the temple, which was currently operated and led by a very corrupt group of priests. He also would have seen the palace that the Romans had built in Jerusalem to house the governor of Judea, Roman governor of Judea, and all of his court. And so, in short, the first thing that Jesus saw from the cross was, first of all, the city of the people of God that had been founded in order to be the dwelling place of God on earth. But in the course of generations, as a result of rebellion and rejection of God, was under both civil and religious authority that had become completely corrupted and completely alienated to God, to the extent that they were the ones who conspired to put him to death. And I think that the lesson that the baptized of the 21st century can learn is that Jesus was no stranger to the reality of corrupt civil authority and corrupt religious authority. It may have been the very first things that he drew into the depths of his sacred heart as he hung upon the cross. It doubtlessly was a cause of great sorrow and great grief, and perhaps even great helplessness in our Lord's heart in that hour. And so, as we take a lot of these things in our own time, let us remember that there is not one event of the world, there is not one thing that we encounter or endure in this world that our Lord not only knows, but that he has already taken into the depths of his sacred heart. And as overwhelmed by anxiety, as overwhelmed by fear, as overwhelmed by disappointment or anger or contempt that we might feel for the people of the world, that we never bear these things on our own, and they are not our questions to answer or our problems to solve. We simply need to surrender all of these things into the hands and the heart of Jesus and to ask in return to become even clearer and more faithful witnesses to everything that he has accomplished for you and for me, for those we love, and for those of the whole world. And remember, God is who he says he is. You are who he says you are, and live the life that he called you to live.